What's going on, guys? Noobs here. I wasn't planning on making a video about the April 12th Nintendo Direct. It just left me feeling like there wasn't a lot to talk about, a lot of announcements that just weren't that interesting to me or discussion worthy. It did leave me feeling like, where is Virtual Console in all of these other uninteresting announcements? That would have been the one that would have gotten me excited. I was going to leave it alone, though, until we got news the following day that Nintendo would be officially discontinuing the NES Classic Edition in North America. This despite the fact that I've still never seen one in the flesh, and clearly the market is not saturated on those things. I just wanted a controller. Those are significantly rarer even. And altogether, this news has just got me completely Nintendo's so good at completely baffling me, leaving me questioning both their respect for their fans and customers, as well as simply a lack of grasp of basic business knowledge. I could understand it if they had announced Virtual Console in the Nintendo Direct for the Switch and then quietly gotten out the discontinuation news the next day, because then I would go, okay, they want me to buy these games digitally, it's more profitable for them, they want to push the Switch, I could get that. But to continue to be radio silent on Virtual Console or something along those lines for Switch, and to also discontinue the NES Classic at the same time, what are you doing, Nintendo? Nintendo sometimes has such reverence for their own history, and they sometimes are so good about celebrating their own history, and other times they're just totally neglectful and insulting. In that Nintendo Direct, we got announcements for not one, not two, but 3 Kirby games for 3DS. They claim this was part of Kirby's 25th anniversary celebration, which just prompted me to ask whatever happened to Samus's birthday. I think she missed the 25th and 30th anniversaries of Metroid, but hey, Kirby, we got 3 games for you. I don't get it. I don't get it. I know that Nintendo, there's kind of this joke, although it's true, they always seem to have more Kirby games show up right at the end of a system's life cycle. I could understand another Kirby game getting announced. Personally, I thought they should have just ported over Rainbow Curse and been done with it. One Kirby game would have been more than enough for me, though. Maybe, here's some advice for Nintendo, okay? Put all the work you're putting into these Kirby games, put those people onto Switch Virtual Console. Wow. So Nintendo put out this statement alongside the NES Classic discontinuation, and man, it is got some real gems in here. Let me read this. We understand that it has been difficult for many consumers to find a system. Yeah, no kidding. And for that, we apologize. We've paid close attention to consumer feedback, and we greatly appreciate the incredible level of consumer interest and support for this product. So, they're aware of the feedback, they've heard that people couldn't get their hands on it, and their reaction wasn't, wow, we should make more of these, we could even increase the price. No, we're done with it. We don't believe in successful products. Let's make 3 Kirby games instead. I don't know what they're doing. On top of this, we keep getting Neo Geo games on Switch, not under Virtual Console branding, they just keep showing up. And whoever is doing it is doing a better job than Nintendo ever does at, releasing them at a steady pace. I want to take you back, to the good old days when the Wii launched and the original Virtual Console started. People complained a lot back then about Virtual Console, but man, little did we know, because we actually had a pretty nice selection of games early on, and they released them pretty consistently in those early days. I remember when I got my Wii, I immediately bought SimCity and F-Zero on there, the Super Nintendo games, and you can't even get that version of SimCity on there anymore. They pulled that. Ever since WiiWare launched, I remember that was the point where Virtual Console releases dropped from about 5 a week to you're lucky if you get 2, and frequently none. And then in newer systems, man, Nintendo's just gotten worse. And they'll like get excited. They'll get you excited. They'll be like, "We're bringing DS games to Wii U or something." They'll announce a new virtual console system for either 3DS or Wii U, and they'll put out a few games for it. And it's like they get bored, and then they stop releasing them for that system. And then a while later, they go, "Oh, we're gonna do this system now." And then out of nowhere, earlier this year, we got a bunch of N64 games on Wii U. I don't know why. I mean, it was nice when it happened. I don't know if there will be more. Just, like, if I could just be told by Nintendo, here's the plan, here's the release schedule. But they just torture you with this slow drip feed. And it's not even consistent. It's just, here's a few games, nothing. Here's 2 more games, no explanation why. Look, there are all kinds of ways Nintendo could handle this better. We've all heard about the idea of sort of a Netflix of video games that Nintendo could do. And personally, that's what I would like to see. I don't really need to explain it all because the idea is so plainly obvious and has been gone over so many times, right? They just put everything they've got, everything they can get from Sega and the TurboGrafx and whatever else they can pull together. Just put it all out there, charge a subscription fee. I have no faith, no hope in that actually happening. Okay, but here's another idea. Lay out all the systems you're going to include on Virtual Console. NES, Super Nintendo, N64, GameCube, Game Boy Advance, DS, Wii, whatever, right? A bunch of Sega systems, a bunch of Hudson systems, whoever else is on board, right? And then commit to doing one game from each of those systems every week. And make a certain day of the week. Pick a day, Thursday. Every Thursday, you're getting an NES game, a Super Nintendo game, N64 game, on and on and on. So maybe if you're supporting 10 virtual consoles, every Thursday there will be 10 new games for you to buy and download. Now that sounds like a business plan. What's more, Nintendo seems to think the best way to maximize revenue with these things is to just torture us, right? And just crush us for every penny that each title, just wring each release out for every penny, like we're going to make them buy these games because we're going to leave them with nothing else to buy. But I think so much of the appeal of this kind of service is just having a huge library that you could just scroll through and go, "Oh, I remember that. I'm totally going to buy that again." There's a great appeal in just scrolling through a huge collection of classic games. And that way you're sure to hit on everybody's nostalgia, right? Because everybody's nostalgic for different games. They all remember different things, or there's games they always wanted to try. Systems they never had as a kid, or systems they had as a kid and they missed them. You got to have it all in there to cover everybody. So please, Nintendo, make a fewer Kirby games and do something with your incredible library of classic games. Be it Virtual Console, be it a better NES Classic that I can actually find in the store. Please just do something and tell me what you're doing.